Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Ado About Nothing. And good lord, do we have a sweet deck this week. We're heading to Modern to play Heartless Mom. This is our second attempt at Elesh Norn in Modern, and this deck is ridiculous and awesome, and one of the sweetest Modern decks I have seen in a long time, trying to combine Elesh Norn with Heartless Summoning and some of the sweetest ETB triggers in all of Magic to do some ridiculous things. So let's talk about the Heartless Mom deck, jump into a Modern League, see it in action. So we start with the card that it's all about, Elesh Norn, Mother of the Machines, a Panharmonicon for us, a Torpor Orb for our opponent, and kind of unkillable by most decks in Modern is a 4/7 that shuts down leyline bindings and such. So in this deck, we're trying to get Elesh Norn on the battlefield is early in turn 3 in two different ways. So the namesake Heartless Summoning is key card number 1. 2 mana enchantment makes our creatures cost 2 less, also gives them -1/-1, but we don't care. Our creatures are not very powerful. They're all about their ETB triggers, so we got a lot of really small creatures anyway, so making them a little bit smaller, really not much of a drawback. The upside is, if we play Heartless Summoning on turn 2, turn 3 we can Elesh Norn, and then turn 4 we can do some crazy things. Our backup turn 2 play is Brought Back. Our deck's got 12 fetch lands in it, and the idea is turn 1 we play a fetch land, turn 2 we play a fetch land, and then we can crack both fetch lands, get untapped lands, brought back both fetch lands. That gives us +2 mana, and then the next turn we make our land drop. Again, turn 3 Elesh Norn, Mother of the Machines. Plus, in the late game, we got some evoke cards, some other cards that sacrifice themselves, so we can get additional value getting back Mulldrifters and such with brought back later. So that's kind of the core of the deck. We also got Ephemera, which protects Mom, also lets us reuse our ETBs. As far as our ETBs, we got Wall of Omens and Mulldrifter to draw a ridiculous amount of cards. We got Solitude Leyline Binding for double removal spells. We got Golos to tutor up a Myria the Sky Ruin to get our stuff back from the graveyard. Our deck is somehow a 4-color deck, and every non-fetch land in our deck is technically a plane, so they all work for a Myria. Then we have my favorite card in the deck. Our main win con in this deck is to go for the flawless victory with Avalanche Riders. Avalanche Riders, ETBs, blows up land. It has Echo, so if we want to, we can sacrifice it on our next turn by not paying its Echo cost. So if we have Elesh Norn, it comes down and blows 2 lands. Maybe we Ephemera it to blow up 2 more lands, and then we can like let it die to Echo and brought back it to blow up 2 more lands, or we have a Myria to just keep looping it every turn from the graveyard. Essentially, once we get Elesh Norn going and Avalanche Riders, we could just blow up our opponent's entire mana base, and then sure, all we got is 1/1 Mulldrifters probably, because we have Heartless Summoning on the battlefield. But eventually, if our opponent has literally no mana, we're gonna win the game somehow. Mana base, we got the Myrias, we got a ton of fetch lands, and then a ton of dual lands that are also planes. Sideboard, we get some counter spells to Fairies for control, Sanctifier and Vec for Rakdos, some more evoke cards to blow up artifacts and enchantments, an Emrakul just in case we run into mill, and that is Heartless Mom for Modern. That's our Much Ado deck for this week. So let's jump into a league and see just how good the combo of Mom and Heartless Summoning and Avalanche Riders and Ephemera and all these sweet ETB triggers are in Modern. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Need some Phyrexial will be 1 cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. Much Ado About Nothing time. We're heading to Modern to play some Heartless Mom. Mom has got no heart. Basically, 5-color Heartless Summoning, Elesh Norn, Mulldrifters, all the sweet shenanigans. Also brought back, the deck looks sweet. This hand, though, does not look as sweet. We're gonna mulligan. Okay, this we like. I think we just put Ephemerate to the bottom. Fetch land, brought back both fetch lands, double ramp, off to the races. But we got the Mom in hand too, and Avalanche Riders. Opponent passes. We draw the Ephemerate we just put to the bottom. Windswept Heath go. The question is, when do we go for it? Hopefully, probably when our opponent cracks the fetch. Pass the turn. Opponent does not crack the fetch. Misty Rain. What is going on? What is going on? Why is no one cracking their fetches? Okay, well then I guess we keep waiting. Myria pass the turn. Maybe we should have just went for it anyway. Still not cracking their fetches. The problem with the brought backs is we only get 1 shot at it. Forest for our opponent. And passing. I'm so confused. What are we doing? What are we doing? Do we keep waiting? If we go for it and it gets countered, it's pretty bad. That's a basic forest though. Arid Mesa, crack it. I guess we're going for it. We can't just keep waiting. Get a Sacred Foundry untapped. Crack it. Get a Plains. Brought back. Get back both of the lands, hopefully. It worked. Okay, that is huge. We got all the mana we need. Oh my god. Well, we will crack Windswept Heath. Oh, can we play Mom first? Let's take Godless Shrine untapped. Crack Arid Mesa. Boy, we are killing ourselves. Do we take Hallowed Fountain? Let's take Hallowed Fountain. Down to 10. We have officially spent half of our life. Do we play Mom? What is our opponent doing? Yeah, let's just play Elesh Norn. The problem with playing Avalanche Riders is we get to kill a land, but then our opponent has all fetch lands, so we actually kind of want our opponent to crack their fetches before we go Avalanche Riders. I mean, if we get to untap and resolve Avalanche Riders, Stomping Grounds, untapped. Oh, are they making Rhinos? Okay, here comes the Rhinos. Well, I mean, if our opponent has something like Brazen Borrower, that's pretty bad. All right, here comes the Rhinos. Although I guess if we just went for the Avalanche Riders, we would have got anyway. No Brazen Borrowers, please. And dead. I guess we just need to go for it. So did we get too greedy by waiting? Well, Teferi's in. Those are really good against Cascade decks. Maybe a couple vetoes in? Leyline Binding. Was that a punt? Although our opponent is, we did correctly identify our opponent being a counterspell deck, and we could have easily gotten Force of Negation there. Right on like that. Down to 1 Leyline Binding. We get to play first. Unfortunate that our opponent was actually the rare deck that can just answer Mom. Not many decks have the ability to do that, but our opponent's is one of them. Well, we got brought back. We got fetch lands. We got Mom. Can we get through our opponent's disruption? That is the real question. Oh, we got all the value too. Oh, we got everything we need. Can we make it hit the battlefield? That's the real question. No Heartless Summoning. I imagine if we ever get Heartless Summoning, this deck can really go off. I'm going to start with the Gemstone Caverns. Definitely cheating. Opponent trying to figure out what to exile. Exile as a land. I guess we'll see. Opponent's only got 4 cards in hand. That is not a huge number of cards, but they're starting with extra mana. I'm surprised Gemstone Caverns hasn't been banned yet. Pretty much any fast mana has been banned, except Gemstone Caverns. It's the last remaining piece of fast mana in Modern, and passes. There's the Heartless Summoning. Play the Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. We're going to go to our opponent's turn to try to play around Force of Negation. Crack the Flooded Strand. Ouch. Godless Shrine. Crack the Windswept Heath. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Brought back. See if we can get our lands back. All right, opponent lets it go. Well, pass the turn. See if we're dead. Are we cascading into Rhinos? Passes. We draw Plains. Well, Windswept Heath. Get a Plains. Windswept Heath. We would like to play Mom first, but I don't know if we can. Get a Plains. Play a Plains. Heartless Summoning. Wall of Omens, draw a card. And Dovin's Veto's not bad. We will pass the turn. We will play this a little patiently. Dovin's Veto means we're not getting Rhino this turn, which is massive. Even if our opponent has Force of Negation, we're not getting Rhinoed. And then next turn, we're a land away from untapping Mom into Mulldrifter, which would be pretty amazing. Gonna get some lands. Mistap for Violent Outburst. Oh, okay, just runs out of Brazen Borrower. Sure. Goes to combat. 3. So no Cascade spell, interestingly. Shardless Agent. However, we have a Dovin's Veto. Counter the Crashing Footfalls. Can we draw land? That would be the best. 2 cards in hand. All right, come on, land. Heartless Summoning. Well, double Heartless Summoning is kind of wild. Heartless Summoning. Elesh Norn for 1 mana. Mulldrifter going to die, but draws us 4 cards. Hopefully these 4 cards hit us some goodies. Ephemerate Wall of Omens. Okay, there's a Solitude. That's big. So play the land. Go Los. Wow, oh my god, we are going off. Double triggers. Amiria. Oh, the value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need a Plains. Triome. Solitude. Pitch the Wall of Omens. Get rid of both threats. And I think we're in pretty good shape here. I think we're doing it. Oh my goodness, so much. And now we have Amiria set up. We get to keep getting back this Mulldrifter to draw 4 each turn. And eventually that's going to find Avalanche Riders. And that'll be the end of our opponent's lands. Opponent. Opponent, what do you got over there? Would you like to make some rhinos? Wow, double Heartless Summoning is ridiculous. This deck is sweet about it. Passing. We will reanimate Mulldrifter to draw 4 cards. Opponent's gonna go after our Elesh Norn. Yeah, let's just ephemerate it. And opponent scoops it up, and that is what Heartless Mom can do when things go well. It's pretty good. Do we want more vetoes? I mean, that was basically brought to us by, I think we need more vetoes. That was brought back. Like, brought back was essential to that working. Let's go up all the vetoes. Go down 1 ephemerate. An Avalanche Rider, run it like that. Well, that was pretty ridiculous. When all of our stuff costs a single mana, the deck can do things. Even though our creatures were dying, it doesn't really matter. Although, how are we gonna win? I guess eventually beating down with Elesh Norn. Well, I guess we blow up all of our opponent's lands and then we win at our leisure. We are gonna try. We got the Teferi being on the draw. We can't get it down before our opponent does their thing. Misty Rainforest. Well, the suspended Crashing Footfall's not the scariest. Windswept Heath go. Dovin's Veto is interesting. The question's going to be, how much do we rely on this brought back? Passes. Yeah, play Windswept Heath. Pass the turn. So we can brought back, but if we do, that clears the way for our opponent to Rhino, and that's pretty bad for us. Opponent taking down the Rhinos. Blood Moon. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this the not great way. Get a Hallowed Fountain. Windswept Heath, crack it. So we're not gonna be able to brought back here, unfortunately. Plains. Veto the Blood Moon. Untap. Well, hopefully we draw more fetch lands. That would be sweet. A little more brought backs. Well, play a Plains. Play Teferi. Yeah, take it up. I mean, I guess we can brought back Solitude as something. It would be so much better with a fetch land, though. Opponent taking down the Crashing Footfalls, but our opponent does need to deal with the Teferi before they cast this. We would even take a single fetch land. Breeding Pool tapped. Pass it. Oh, we're good. We fizzled the Rhinos, and there's a fetch land. Okay. Arid Mesa. Can we draw with Teferi? I think so. Because worst case, if Teferi dies, we just brought back Teferi past the turn. We might actually be in good shape here. So Crashing Footfalls, fizzled by the power of Teferi. The sideboard power, Misty Rainforest, passes. Take up Teferi, play the Plains, pass the turn. We're gonna play it slow. Like, we're in such a good spot here, I don't think we need to get greedy. Opponent. Stomping Ground stepped. Yeah, apparently Teferi just like beats our opponent's deck. Opponent plays a land and passes. Wouldn't mind another fetch. That would be sweet. Another ephemerate. Well, take up Teferi. Pass the turn. We really want one more of something to get the value out of this. A Tuara. Now that's actually kind of annoying. Sure. So opponent's gonna try to make rhinos. This is their rhino window. At this point, we probably just discard the Avalanche Riders. If you're gonna go for it, now's the time. But even with this, between brought-backs and solitudes and ephemerates, I don't know if it really matters. Pass it. We draw a Godless Shrine. Well, Godless Shrine, play a Heartless Summoning. Pass the turn. Really, no Cascade. Interesting. Gonna pass. We draw. All right, opponent's gonna ice our blue source. Sure. I'll play Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. I mean, we're kind of waiting for our opponent to go for it, because if they go for it, then we get to just wreck them with solitudes and brought-backs, but they're not going for it. Opponent passes. Arid Mesa, crack it. Triome. Arid Mesa, crack it. Get a Triome. Brought back the lands. Wall of Omens. I wish we had a mom. Actually, we don't crack anything. Let's just Wall of Omens, draw a card. Idyllic range. Counter on the Wall of Omens. Do we play Teferi or do we wait? I mean, I guess we might as well. Make him spend the counter. All right, there's a Force Negation. Sure. Well, we will pass the turn. I mean, we're still in pretty good shape. Opponent untaps. Because of Solitudes and Ephemerates, we're still in pretty good shape. At some point, we might try to Ephemerate the Wall of Omens. Well, let's keep thinning the deck. I don't even know how many more lands we have left to fetch. Not many. Sacred Foundry. So much ramp. Flooded Strand, crack it. Get a Plains. Ephemerate Wall of Omens? Okay, dead land. Untap. Ephemerate Wall of Omens. All right, no more lands. We have thinned the deck. No more lands. Okay, Mulldrifter, that's good. Land, not as good. Well, 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think we just evoke Mulldrifter. Evoke Mulldrifter. Draw a couple cards. So Avalanche Rider blows up a land. Is that even good? Avalanche Rider. Well, start attacking the mana. Blow up a land. Hit ya with Avalanche Rider. I mean, at some point our opponent's gonna cascade. Maybe not today, but someday. Pass the turn. A Miria would be sweet. Blood Moon. Not that bad. We untap. Avalanche Riders dies. More Heartless Summonings. Not the best. I wish I knew where our Elesh Norn was. Play the land. Pass the turn. We need to get rid of this Blood Moon, but I'm not sure how we can do it. Opponent discards some lands. All right, opponent finally went for it. So Shardless Agent, make some Rhinos. Leyline Binding, get rid of the Blood Moon. Turn our mana back on. Could really use a Mom. All right, so opponent does their big thing. Passes. Oh! How many lands are left in our deck? Hopefully not many. Solitude. Get rid of a Rhino. Play a land. Pass the turn. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. Now let's Ephemerate the Solitude. So opponent's going to kill the Solitude. Going to bounce the Wall of Omens. Well, we will brought back the Solitude. To get rid of the Rhino, we take our beats. We do need to draw a non-land, though. We have drawn an absurd number of lands. We dropped to 6. We need a Mom, really. That's what we need the most. Solitude. Well, Solitude's not the worst. Wall of Omens. Draw a card. Oh, there's a Miria for the future. Hit you with the Solitude. I mean, next turn is where things become good because we get to start reanimating. Goes to 22, so opponent's going to try to kill us this turn. All right, another dead gone. Sure. Well, we will pass. Opponent's only got 1 card in hand. Are we going to stabilize at the lowest possible life total with the highest amount of lands? Opponent. If they play the Brazen Borrower, wow, no lands left. That's huge. No Brazen Borrower to deal with. Going to tap the Wall of Omens. Cast a Solitude. Get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancer. Opponent taps our wall, draws a card. With a Miria online, as long as we don't die this turn, we're in pretty sweet shape. Opponent attacks. Well, I mean, we will block with Solitude. Go up to 8. Do you have Rhinos, opponent? Suspends Rhinos. But we got a Mulldrifter in our graveyard. We got a Mulldrifter. We will get back the Mulldrifter. Draw some cards. What a wild, long game. Draw 2. Well, okay. Where's Mom? We need our Mom. There's Mom. Elesh Norn. Okay, now I think we finally have pulled ahead. Golos. This is where it ends for our opponent. Gets an Amiria. Golos gets an opponent scoops it up. Oh my goodness. That was the longest game I've ever played against Rhinos. You can see the deck, like, oh my goodness. It just stalls out and stalls out and stalls out. And then eventually the Mom Heartless Summoning value, it turns into like a combo deck. We play like this weird sort of like ramp value deck. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like, we're going off. And like from this point, what does an opponent do? Like, I guess they can try to kill our stuff, but what do they do? We get to this point, and then next turn, we're reanimating double Avalanche Riders with Elesh Norn to blow up 4 lands, and then we Ephemerate to blow up 2 more lands. Like, literally next turn, we eat our opponent's entire mana base. Like, all of it. Every single land gone. Flawless Elesh Norn victory in Modern. Sweet, 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 sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are doing some more Heartless Momming, and this hand actually looks pretty good. We can set up a brought back next turn into Heartless Summoning Mulldrifter. All right, no Thoughtseize. Uh-oh. If they Thoughtseize, okay, just a Plains. And Giver of Runes. We should be off to the races. Hopefully we find a Mom, I think? That would probably be our best draw. All right, opponent passes. Avalanche Rider as well. Arid Mesa. Crack Windswept Teeth. Plains. Crack Windswept Teeth. Get a Plains. Brought back the fetch lands. Pass the turn. Horizon Canopy and Stoneforge Mystic. Where's the Mom? What are they getting with the Stoneforge is the question. There's a Cauldron Complete and a Memnite. Can we beat a Cauldron Complete? Passing. Heartless Summoning. I'm gonna have to take some damage here. Godless Shrine untapped. Arid Mesa, crack it. Hallowed Fountain, Heartless Summoning. Play the Plains. Evoke a Mulldrifter. Ephemerate the Mulldrifter. I mean, we're doing value-y things. We'll see if it's enough. Solitude is a big one. Can we get a white? Oh, we get a white card, but it's a mom. I really don't want to pitch the mom. Yeah, let's pass. I think we pass and try to take the hit, and then next turn we can mom into double Solitude. Although the Giver of Runes. Oh, this is actually interesting. We may or may not be in trouble here. Cauldron Compete is a fast clock, and this Mother of Runes is an issue. Arid Mesa. And here comes Cauldron Complete. Yup. Mom is big enough to block it, but we can't. We lose our mom if we do block it. We take 5. I mean, we get to draw a bunch more cards. Paradise Mantle. And Equips. And another Giver of Runes. Let's see what we draw here. So, Ephemerate. Blinks the Mulldrifter. We really need another Solitude, I think. Ooh, Leyline Binding, that might work. The problem is we're short a white card, hilariously. So we play Mom, shock down to 5, play Solitude. Oh, we're so close. Okay, play Mom. Oh, actually, no, this is fine, right? Because we can just hit the Cauldron Complete. That actually makes way more sense. So if we play the Triome, red, white, blue, black, play the Triome, Leyline Binding. Double triggers. Get the Cauldron Complete. Get the Giver of Runes. We gotta dodge like a surprise hammer. That would get us. But this does answer the problems. Actually, the hammer's gonna be hard to pull off because of Mom. Mom is actually really good because it shuts down most of the free hammer equips. Doesn't stop Pure Steel Paladin, but it stops the other modes. Okay, that's a Pure Steel Paladin. And okay. I mean, we can chump with the Mulldrifter or the Mom, which is more painful because our opponent can use this Giver to give protection. So we still should be alive, I think. Opponent equips to the Stoneforge, but we are probably going to lose Mom here. All right, opponent goes protection. Losing Mom is painful, so we have to chump with Mom. But this means our opponent is tapped out, which is big. So we stay at 7. Opponent passes. We will also get Mom back with a Myriad. So, oh my god, a Leyline Binding. Avalanche Riders. Blow up Horizon Canopy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Solitude. Get rid of the Pure Steel Paladin. Sacred Foundry untapped. Pass the turn. So we still have our Leyline Binding up. We got plenty of chump blockers. No Mom, though. I feel like we're good. This Emiria in 2 turns is going to be big. Opponent basically has to figure out how to kill us this turn and next turn. Or then the Mom comes back, and then I think it's over. Opponent goes combat. Well, let's... Opponent kills the Mulldrifter in the Solitude. Sure. Arid Mesa. I mean, we still have the Leyline Binding. All we're trying to do is stay alive until we get to this Emiria. Ooh, another Stoneforge. All right, it's a little bit scary. What can the Stoneforge get? I mean, we already dealt with the Cauldron Complete. Shadow Sphere. I mean, Leyline Binding should be able to answer that. And that is our opponent's last card. Unless our opponent top decks, I think we survive until Emiria comes on. Equips the Paradise Mantle. Sure. Yeah, we let Avalanche Riders go. Come on, top deck. Okay, 1, 2. Avalanche Riders. Blow up the Temple Garden. Emiria. Pass the turn. We should be good, right? We should be good. We are going to be out of cards, which is awkward. There's a Shadow Sphere. Opponent going to equip the Shadow Sphere. So now I think we just binding the hammer. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the hammer. Do we take it? Are we paying? Yeah, let's take it. We might actually pay for this, Avalanche Riders. Opponent passes. Emiria, get back Mom. I think we actually pay. So we have 2 colors of creatures. We can still cast anything that we can draw. So pay for the Avalanche Riders. We draw Plains. Play Idyllic Range. 2 counters on Avalanche Riders. All right, this is it. This is our opponent's last shot. Our opponent has to win the game this turn through the Mom and the Avalanche Riders. Once we get back Mulldrifter next turn with Mom out, the value just becomes game ending. Or we get back Avalanche Riders and blow up our opponent's only mana. That's also a possibility. Colossal Hammer. No way to equip it though. Passes. Oh, this should be game, right? Emiria for Mulldrifter. 4. Ephemerate and Heartless Summoning. Well, Ephemerate Mulldrifter. Wow, opponent's not giving up. Wall of Omens, that's good. Wow, that is a lot of lands. Wall of Omens. Draw 2. Mulldrifter, draw 4. Eventually, we're just going to draw all the lands and then we don't got to worry about it. We're going to draw them all brought backs. And opponent eventually decides that us drawing our entire deck is just a little bit too much for them to handle. Try to hammer us, will ya? Ingot Chewer might be worth it. Could even see an argument for Wispmare, but we probably don't want to go too deep. What do we cut? Leyline was good. Mulldrifter, I mean, you can't cut Mulldrifter. Could cut a Golos. Is Golos not necessary? Veto could be okay. Better on the play, I think, than the draw, though. Maybe we go like 1 Avalanche Rider, 1 Ephemerate, 5-drop Tribal. It's funny, we have this huge pile of 5-drops, but most of them do not actually cost 5 mana. It's a lot of Mulldrifters. I think we actually mulligan that hand. Oh, all right, we're gonna keep this. It is risky. We really need to draw land, but we are on the draw, and we do have the brought back, which if we can just top deck a fetch land, then all of a sudden we're in really good shape. Yes, okay. Life has suddenly become good again. Windswept Teeth go. Paid off for the 1 land, 1 keep. See, and doesn't have much. I mean, I guess Ingot Chewer's our defense, but it doesn't have much defense. Stoneforge is annoying, I guess. At some point, Ephemerate Ingot Chewer could be a thing. Oh, Urza Saga. Okay. And Stoneforge, golly. Yeah, that's not great. There's the Cauldron complete. Opponent passes. We draw Arid Mesa, well, land. Crack Arid Mesa. Get a, Sacred Foundry. Crack Windswept Teeth. Get a Plains. Brought back the fetch lands. I guess if there's good news, our opponent does have to choose here between making a construct and putting Cauldron Complete into play. Maybe Urza Saga is a good enough reason to bring in Wismare. They're just going to put the Cauldron Complete into play. Makes sense. Well, come on, Leyline Bindings and Solitudes. Quickly, please. Ink Moth Nexus and a Haywire Might. Opponent going to go attacking. Hit us. Well, we untap. Wall of Omens, draw a card. So Ingot Chewer can't kill the Cauldron Complete. Crack Arid Mesa, get a Plains. Crack Windswept Teeth. We were worried about lands a minute ago. Now we have plenty. Wall of Omens. Draw Solitude. Brought back. Play Arid Mesa. Pass the turn. I don't know. This doesn't look great. We're generating value, but this Cauldron Complete on the play that's a clock. We might have to just Ephemerate a Wall of Omens to try to draw some more cards. We're getting low on life. Opponent's trying to figure out if they want to make a construct, and opponent decides no. Well, if they can put a hammer into play here, then we're dead. If they need Pure Steel, right? Pure Steel, equipped to Cauldron Complete, we die. Oh, this looks like Pure Steel. All right, so what we're gonna have to do is just Ephemerate a Wall of Omens, and we have to hit exactly Solitude, or we die. Fires up Ink Moth Nexus, goes to combat. 4 out of 44. Well, Arid Mesa, crack it. Hollowed Fountain. Come on, Solitude. Gotta be a Solitude. Arid Mesa. I mean, Hammer Time can still get off to some pretty fast starts. Do we want Wismare? Blowing up Urza Saga does seem helpful. You know what? Maybe we go down the Golos for a Wismare. And one more. Well, Avalanche Riders also blows it up, doesn't it? I guess we could just keep the Avalanche Riders. You know what? Let's bring in one. Let's try it like that. Go down the Golos. Golos getting a Miri is nice, but I don't think it's necessary. Well, the good news is we're on the play this game, which should hopefully be helpful. Basically, this deck, if you decide to try this deck, you really want the Brought Back or the Heartless Summoning. Like, those are the 2 cards you really want one of. This has neither, but I think we keep it, mostly because we can Leyline Binding on turn 2. And we do have the Mom, so we're drawing live to our payoffs. Let's just play a tap land go. Like, if our opponent has Stoneforge, at least we have an answer to the Cauldron Complete, which was the problem last game. And we got Wall of Omens to do some blocking. And Haywire Might, sure. So that does answer Leyline Binding eventually. Well, Plains and Wall of Omens, draw a card. Pass the turn. I mean, I guess we just get to Mom naturally at some point. Urza Saga, that's a good one. Sigarda's Aid. I mean, we are going to block. If they want to flash in a hammer, that's acceptable. All right, opponent is going to hammer. Kill the Wall of Omens. Amiria. We could Wall of Omens and just try to block. Leyline Binding does get better once we get this Mom down. Yeah, that's probably safe-ish. Let's Wall of Omens, draw a card. Solitude's not bad. Godless Shrine tapped. All right, I mean, Solitude means if everything goes horribly wrong, we do have an answer. Still, we don't really want to pitch any of the things in our hand. Block with the Wall of Omens. Stay at 20. Opponent passes. We draw even more Emirias. Well, play Emiria past the turn. Opponent is going to lose their Urza Saga here and go down to 1 land. They get another hammer. So the question's going to be, do they have a way to protect this Haywire Might? Leyline Binding. Hit the Haywire Might. Oh boy. All right, this is a bummer, but we got to do it. Well, hopefully we draw a Mulldrifter. So we're not dead, and our opponent has nothing left. However, we just spent our entire hand. Oh my god. Okay, that's actually interesting. Avalanche Riders. Blow up a Jano. Idyllic Range, get a counter, hit you for 3. Our opponent having no lands has got to be good for us. We will get to Emirias eventually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opponent passing. Opponent's at 38, which is kind of annoying. I think we actually have to pay here. Paying for Avalanche Riders is not our dream, but... Oh, there's the Mulldrifter. Well, Hallowed Fountain tapped. Mulldrifter for next turn is nice. Opponent having no lands is especially nice. Oh, opponent. Okay, paid off. It's a land, Marsh Flats. Us hitting Mulldrifter is huge, though. Giver of runes. And we're still at 20, remember. Ingot Chewer. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full price Mulldrifter. Draw a couple cards. 3, 4, 5. Windswept Heath. Hit you with the Avalanche Riders. So the worst case is our opponent top decks another land and plays Pure Steel and can equip. Okay, we actually would love to draw planes here. That would be the best, because that turns on Emiria. So fetch land is good, creature's good. Ingot Chewer. Cast an Ingot Chewer. Blow up a hammer. Play another Emiria. And protect. Opponent down to 29 past the turn. Do they draw a land? Esper Sentinel. All right, that's not really a concern. Passing. Well, let's crack this Windswept Heath. Get a Triome out of the deck. All right, Plains, Mom, Mulldrifter. Those are all good. All right, that is a Plains for the future. So play the land. 1, 5. Ingot Chewer. Blow up Colossal Hammer. And opponent scoops it up. Heartless Wow, that was the slow hand paying off thanks to the power of Avalanche Rider. We didn't even get Mom going. We had to pitch our Mom to a Solitude to stay alive from the double hammer, but we blew up all of our opponent's lands, and in the end, that was enough. It's like sweet. Yeah, all right, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are playing some more Heartless Mom in Modern, and Sand looks pretty good. We are on the draw, but Urza Saga turn 1. Uh-oh. This is probably Amulet Titan, right? I think Amulet Titan's the only deck that just wants to run out Saga on turn 1. At least one of the only decks. Oh, okay. Or if you can make extra mana, then it's fine. So it's actually hammer time. We only have 1 white card, so if we want a Solitude, we're gonna have to pitch the Brought Back. There's probably some argument to just Solituding the Memnite. If we Solitude the Memnite, they're not gonna be able to use the Saga period to make constructs. I guess maybe they can make one on turn 3 right before it sacks, but see what we draw. I really don't want to pitch the Brought Back. I really want to brought back these 2 fetch lands. Maybe that's just too slow this game. We'll see. I mean, I guess we can also just wait and try to beat the constructs. I mean, if we have the time to set up, what we want to do is turn 2 Brought Back, turn 3 Heartless Summoning into Thing. This starts pretty quick for a hammer deck. Our opponent might force our hand. Maybe the plan is to brought back a land. Hope we draw a white card. Turn 2 Solitude, brought back Solitude and fetch land. That might be the best plan. I mean, that depends on us drawing a white card and on our opponent continuing this match, which is apparently a bit of a challenge. Wait, okay, opponent has returned after 6 minutes. Another brought back's actually pretty good. Just because it's a white card. Like, just being white is huge here. Because it means we have a card to pitch for that Solitude line we were talking about. Opponent said, sorry, baby diapers. Ornithopter for our opponent. And even more Ornithopters. Wow, this construct's gonna be big. And oh, there's no construct though. Springleaf Drum. Okay. Stoneforge maybe? Oh, it's 8 cast. Okay. Passes. This is interesting. Is our opponent's draw just going to be too fast? We'll see. This is a lot of creatures on the battlefield. Thankfully, most of them have 0 power, which helps, but passes. Windswept Heath. Well, play Windswept Heath. Pass the turn and see what happens. We got a couple of options here. If we get a chance, we would love to just, like, we can brought back and then hardcast Solitude. That would probably be the best case. We'll see how much pressure our opponent can put on here. They get something off the Urza Saga. I assume at some point they're going to make a construct. Like, it's just too big to pass up. Yeah, here comes the construct. It's an 8/8, soon to be even bigger. I mean, this puts our opponent down to one land, kind of. But these Springleaf Drums Ornithopters means our opponent actually has plenty of mana. Oh, that's actually just game. And the other fetch and oh, that actually just wins our opponent the game. All right, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's a punt. Is it normal that those decks are playing main deck main deck Pithing Needle? Now I gotta look this up. Is that actually a thing that we need to be aware of? No, that one has a Pithing Needle. Seems like the answer is not normally. Okay, well, now we know. That was a blowout. That was a blowout. Well, we'll go down to Golos. Oh, that was so brutal. Yeah, run it like that. I mean, that was also a little bit unlucky that our other land in hand was in Arid Mesa. That was just like the blowout in every possible way. This hand is lacking any of our big payoffs. But we got a Wall of Omens redraw, and we do have 2 Leyline Bindings that should be able to come down pretty quickly. The Pithing Needle. Well, now we know. I guess we got to play around main deck Pithing Needle. We will play a Windswept Heath and pass the turn. See how many cards our opponent can dump on the battlefield here on turn number 1. Sadly, we don't have anything that like super specifically punishes affinity. I guess the Ingot You or something, but it's not like we have a Stony Silence or anything that's just like GG. Darksteel Citadel, artifact land number 1, and Springleaf Drum. That's it, that's all. Well, I think we gotta crack this for a Triome. A Triome that makes blue mana for Mulldrifting. And we draw the brought back. That's unfortunate. Well, Wall of Omens. Okay, we do draw the land, that's nice. So that turns on our Leyline Bindings at least. Urza Saga, that's obnoxious. Old Patchy. And a Shadow Sphere. Pass it. So we can Leyline Binding something, although I'm not sure what that would be. We can't really Leyline Binding this. We could evoke a Mulldrifter, and then it dies, but we get a couple cards. Blue, red, white, so we need 3 mana to Leyline Binding. Yeah, let's just Hallowed Fountain untapped, pass the turn. I wonder if we should just be snagging the Springleaf Drum. You know what, I think we're going to. Let's Leyline Binding, get rid of the Springleaf Drum. That kind of cuts our opponent off multiple mana because of affinity cards. So they're down the ability to make mana with Springleaf Drum, and it's an artifact off the battlefield. Also means our opponent needs a untap land to Urza Saga here, which is kind of big. If we can be patient enough, we can get to the point where we brought back Mulldrifter. All right, that's good. That means no construct, but opponent does have a free artifact, so that means Big Patchy. Opponent goes to combat, gonna get in for 4. What do we draw? I mean, this doesn't have trample. Let's Wall of Omens draw a card. Windswept Heath, pass the turn. Maybe we brought back Wall of Omens? Opponent's gonna lose their mana here. We have a lot of Leyline Bindings. We managed to dodge any constructs, which is sweet. Opponent's going for it again. Names Wind. I mean, I guess we should have cracked the Windswept Heath. I guess we never learned. Didn't think they would leave the Pithing Needle in. Is our opponent actually trying to be like a land destruction deck? Is that their main game plan here? Oh, come on now. They draw another free art. Oh my goodness. Our opponent is running super hot. Down to 9. Yeah, I think we're dead. Oh, we draw a Flooded Strand. Yeah, I guess we just pass. They left the Pithing Needle in. It's so dead against our deck. Oh, they draw another Saga too. Wow. That is off the top because our opponent missed their land drop last turn. Oh. Well, I mean, we can't fully blame our opponent because we could have cracked the fetch, but this is kind of ridiculous. Opponent draws an Ether Spellbomb as well to bounce the Wall of Omens, and they equip the Cranial Plating. Is there any way we can survive this? I'm not sure there is. Godless Shrine untapped. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the Cranial Plating. Yeah, we're just dead. We have to Leyline Binding a Memnite just to not die. Oh yeah, we're certainly dead. Wow. Well, I mean, there's no coming back from this. I'm definitely going to get yelled at in the comments for this one. Should have cracked the fetch, I guess. I don't know if I've ever seen a affinity player so dedicated to the land destruction plan. I'm kind of blown away. Game 1 makes sense. Game 1, they just got us because they played a card that most people don't play in their deck, and it ended up working out really well for them. Game 2, I thought there was zero chance they would leave that in, but I guess the cost of playing around it was basically non-existent. So I guess we should have just cracked the fetch to play around it. On the off chance that they did. First loss, I guess that one's on us. Sorry, Mom. Much brew about nothing time. We are sadly mulliganing a one lander with Heartless Mom in Modern. This one will keep. We will put a Golos to the bottom. Well, this hand is not fast by any stretch of the imagination. It's got value, but it's got none of our payoffs. No brought back, no Heartless Summoning. So when you don't have one of those cards, the deck can be a bit slow. And we're on the draws for the double whammy. Hopefully our opponent's not playing Pithing Needle. Opponent, Blood Crypt untapped. Ragavan. That's unfortunate. Well, okay. Opponent gets to start snowballing. Yeah, this is why you don't lose die rolls in Modern. Because of this exactly. So now we can play the Wall of Omens. The problem is the snowball continues because our opponent will just kill the Wall of Omens. And then the monkey hits, and that keeps happening pretty much forever. Such an unhealthy card. I mean, I can definitely see one of the issues with this deck being that it doesn't really impact the board on turn 1. Play a Plains, play a Wall of Omens, opponent kills it, hits us with a monkey. Losing the Ephemerit's actually pretty bad. We had plans for this Mulldrifter with the Ephemerate. Thankfully, I guess our deck shouldn't be super beneficial, but the treasures are still just a huge issue. Making extra mana every turn is very strong. Opponent down to 13, plays a Swamp. Season Pyromancer to try to draw a removal spell for Wall of Omens. All right. Ooh, okay. We actually have hope. We'll play another Wall of Omens. Windswept Heath, pass the turn. Okay, with 2 Wall of Omens, things are looking up a little bit. That's 2 blockers for the stupid monkey. We will block and also block. Could be a grief turn, thanks to the treasure. Opponent does have grief because of the treasure. Scams away the Leyline Binding. Well, crack Windswept Heath. Hollowed Fountain tapped. Ephemerate would still be sweet. Ooh, Elesh Norn. We gotta wait another turn though. Elesh Norn kinda wrecks our opponent. Wall of Omens, draw a card. Arid Mesa. This is a color combination that could have hard removal. They could also have more griefs, I guess. Opponent goes to combat. Swings with everything. Well, we have a Wall of Walls. Waltron to do some blocking. Opponent. Well, we managed to stop the monkey. All right, gonna do Season Pyromancer stuff. Mom does shut all this down if our opponent can't kill it. Shadow of Mortality, Undying Malice. Why are they playing Shadow of Mortality? Opponent, Blood Crypt. Untap down to 11. Well, crack Arid Mesa. Triome. Ooh, Leyline Binding. Well, Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath. Plains, and we are going to run out Mom here. If our opponent has hard removal, that's sad, but Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines. Fatal Push don't get it. Unholy Heat don't get it. Opponent needs to terminate, basically. All right, they have a Fatal Push to kill a wall, but they gotta kill the Mom. Like, if they can't kill the Mom, next turn's going to be absurd for us. Swings with everything. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Instant, land creature, sorcery. They could have exactly Unholy Heat, but if we don't block, they could have Lightning Bolt. If they have Unholy Heat, I'm gonna cry. All right, we drop to 5. Last card. All right, nothing. Opponent passes. We draw Arid Mesa. We have to not die. Leyline Binding's 2 mana. All right, 1, 2, 3. I think we evoke a Mulldrifter. Evoke triggers last, because we want to see if we draw an Ephemerate. Brought back. All right, so we lose the Mulldrifter. Play Windswept Heath. Get rid of this, get rid of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're dead to a Lightning Bolt. Opponent can make tokens with the Season Pyromancer, so we can Leyline Binding to get rid of our opponent's 2 biggest things. Can we survive all the little things? Not if they have a burn spell. Attacks. Come on, no bolts, no bolts. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the grief, get rid of the Season Pyromancer. No, drop to 2. Do you got a bolt? Cracks Bloodstained Mire, that's a little scary. And, last card. All right, just a Shadow of Mortality, that's fine. Can we stay alive though? Can we block enough to stay alive? Oh, Solitude is actually pretty big. Evoke a Mulldrifter to find a white card to pitch to Solitude. I guess if we whiff on white cards, we can draw back. All right, so Mulldrifter. We find a Mulldrifter. Oh, we did not find a white card. Okay, so if we kill this, we have 3 blockers. We pitch brought back to Solitude. Exile Shadow of Mortality. Exile the Mulldrifter to gain some life. So we go up to 4. We get rid of the Shadow of Mortality. We lose the Mulldrifter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Idyllic Range. Counter on the Wall of Omens. Counter on the Wall of Omens. And pass the turn. Oh boy, this is close. So now the walls are big enough they actually kill the tokens, which is nice. Still worried about like a Lightning Bolt. That's the card that just makes us die. Ragavan. That doesn't beat us. Opponent goes to combat. Drop to 1. But not dead. Not dead yet. Leyline Binding. Golos. Get a Godless Shrine. Where's our other Emeria? Oh, it's already on the battlefield. Okay, this works. Golos, get 2 planes. Play another Emeria. Pass the turn. Oh, we should have attacked. I'm an idiot. I'm going to get yelled at for that one too. Vigilance. Mom is Vigilance. I don't think it's going to matter. We're either going to dominate this game with value or die to a bolt here. Oh, okay. So now we should be good. Because now we get to Emeria Mulldrifter. Emeria Solitude. Solitude Golos. Solitude. We want to be out of bolt range. That's the biggest thing. Get rid of the Golos. Get back the Mulldrifter. Mulldrifter draws 4. And now we should be good. Now we should start attacking. We're out of bolt range. Cast a Mulldrifter. Draw 4. Play the land. Go to combat. Hit you with Mom. I think we got there. We will pass the turn. We'll start discarding fetch lands, which have nothing left to fetch up. And I guess a Mom. I guess a brought back at this point. Yeah, I think we're good now. Wow, that was close. But I think we did it. An opponent scoops it up. Opponent played turn 1 monkey. We couldn't stop it. And we still got the job done. And now we get to bring in 4 Sanctifier and Vex, which is really, really good against our opponent's deck. Sanctifier and Vex in. Honestly, probably the Golos. Honestly, probably an Avalanche Riders. That was impressive. The deck, once it turns the corner hard. Like, in the early game, we can fall behind, but once we, like any good Panharmonicon deck, but then once we start to come back and get Mom going, wow, does the value become pretty overwhelming pretty quick. Maybe get on like 1 Ephemerate. 1 more Avalanche Riders. Let's run it like that. Land Destruction doesn't seem that great against our opponent's deck. Yeah, let's see. Opponent's on the play again, but that didn't matter last time. This we gotta keep. We got Sanctifier and the brought back combo. Opponent for Catacombs. It is Stupid Monkey. Do you have a Thoughtseize? Do you have a monkey? Opponent's trying to decide. They might have both. Opponent starts with the Thoughtseize. Well, I assume they have to take Sanctifier and Vex because I don't think they can ever beat that card. But that does leave us hopefully open to brought back to do some ramping. I mean, maybe they take the brought back. I don't know how a Rakdos deck can let this card resolve though. Like, you just can't beat it. It's so good against Rakdos. Maybe they have an Edict. It's possible. Yeah, all right, opponent does take the Sanctifier. We draw a Wall of Omens. Well, I mean, I think we just lead on the fetch and see what happens. Play the fetch, pass the turn. All right, well, we're definitely going to go brought back then. Play a Windswept Heath. Yeah, we're just going to do it now. Crack a Flooded Strand, get a Plains. Crack a Windswept Heath, Plains. Brought back the fetch lands. Pass. Okay, I like the sounds of nothing. We draw even more lands. Could use some non-lands. Play an Arid Mesa. Keep thin in the deck. Wall of Omens. Draw a card. I guess we can crack 1 of these. Yeah, let's crack 1 in response to get the Triome. Ooh, Mulldrifter is actually pretty nice. Pass the turn. We have the Leyline Binding if we need it, and our opponent's not doing much. Opponent needs another discard. Ooh, all right, opponent finds a land. Opponent pass it. Flooded Strand, crack it. Hollowed Fountain tapped. Arid Mesa, crack it. Godless Shrine. We might just be hard casting a Mulldrifter here. Idyllic Range. Yeah, I guess that's the plan. Cast a Mulldrifter. This is modern. Find a Sanctifier. Play Arid Mesa. Pass the turn. This is like as fair as this is just like hard cast a Mulldrift. It's like you're playing a fair commander deck in modern. I mean, it gets super unfair once we find Mom and Ephemerate, but this is like super fair mode. Is it grief time? Opponent again. They don't know we drew this, but we drew the Sanctifier. Okay, gonna kill the wall. And then Fiend Death. Should we be trying to answer this? Yeah, I think we just let it go. I mean, so it's going to kill the Mulldrifter, but we have Sanctifier, which can just block it. So I think this is fine. So opponent wraps our board. Hopefully they don't have discard. That would make this worse. Passing. All right, well, Arid Mesa, crack it. Thin the deck. Get our last... Boy, we are almost out of fetchable lands again. Wall of Omens. Well, 1-2. Wall of Omens, draw a card. Ooh, Heartless Summoning. I think we actually just wait on that. 1-2, Sanctifier and Vec. Windswept Heath to get the last land out of our deck. Pass the turn. I mean, we have a good blocker here. Sanctifier and Vec is very good at blocking. Very good at blocking red things. And we still have the Leyline Binding if we need it. Yeah, these were kind of slow scam draws. No, like turn 1, double, triple Thoughtseize. Passing. I guess we can cycle the Triumph. Oh, Windswept Heath. Fetch lands or dead draws for the rest of the game. No more lands to fetch out. If we draw lands, we want to draw Myria. A Myria would be interesting. Oh, cycle the Triumph. Mulldrifter I like. Well, let's go back to full price in our Mulldrifters. Just the way Garfield intended. 5 mana, draw 2. We hit a Solitude and another fetch land that doesn't do anything. I don't even think we want a Heartless Summoning at this point. Plains. Should we go aggro? I mean, let's just wait. Our deck is so good at winning the late game. I don't think there's any reason to rush it. Like, we attack with Sanctifier and then they kill our stuff and get in for 8 and we got to use a Leyline Binding. Like, why risk it for 2 damage at this point? So I can take one of our 2 removal spells. Heartless Summoning we don't really care about anymore. I don't even think we play it. We have so much mana at this point, we can just cast everything. All right, takes the Solitude, sure. Passing. Mulldrifter. Mulldrifter for the win. Opponent passes. Boy. All right. A Myria. If we're going to draw land, we want it to be a Myria. Get in with the Mulldrifter. So now our opponent probably needs some graveyard hate or land hate, I guess. But if this Myria goes off, our opponent is going to die very quickly. The value. Kind of hilarious that we're essentially... Wow, opponent scoops it up. Kind of hilarious that we're essentially a 5-color Myria deck and it's working. Such is life in Modern with Triumphs and Fetch lands. 5-color and essentially every land in our deck is a Plains. And it works. As long as you play around the Pithing Needle. That's the only thing that can defeat this deck is not playing around Pithing Needle. Well, sweet. Much more about nothing time. We are playing some more Heartless Mom in Modern. Yeah, we got the brought back. Flooded Strandgo. I think opponent's on Jingotha. I think our main plan is probably just to brought back the 2 fetch lands. We'll see what our opponent does. Could also do Solitude brought back if we had to, but double ramping seems reasonable. Blood Grip for our opponent. All right, well, that's annoying. Takes the brought back. I guess we're just cracking fetches and then grab a Triome. Leyline Binding, eh? Yeah, let's just play the Triome, get all the land types. Hopefully our opponent's on a Blood Moon deck. That would be obnoxious. Ragavan. Well, yeah, we're just gonna Leyline Binding that. No monkey value for you, opponent. So Ragavan down, we could really use something we could play. How about Wall of Omens? Heartless Summoning would be interesting for the future. Mulldrifter would be good in the future. Or even more lands. All right, well, Flooded Strand, go. Bloodstained Mire, Overgrow Tomb, and Grist. All right, that's pretty good. Makes an Insect, mills an Inquisition. I mean, we should be able to outvalue Jund if we start drawing things eventually. Do we just take a Plains? Yeah, let's take a Plains in case there's a Blood Moon. We want action. Oh my god, even more lands. The flood is getting ridiculous. Arid Mesa, go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's something good. We can't even really play the Mom into the Grist. Even more Ragavans. Well, I guess our opponent's gonna get in a monkey hit this turn. Opponent going aggro, drawing all the Ragavans in the world. Hopefully they don't steal anything sweet. There's the Wall of Omens we wanted. Opponent takes up Grist. Casts our Wall of Omens. Boy, do I hate Ragavan. Another Plains. No way our opponent's playing Blood Moon, but whatever. All right, opponent, cast our Wall of Omens. Oh, I hate this card. We really needed that Wall of Omens. You know we're gonna draw another land. Land number, I don't even know, 49. Ragavan bounces back to hand. We draw. Opponent has an upkeep stop set. Upkeep stop set. Hey, they passed the turn. Play a Plains. Avalanche Riders. Blow up your Urza Saga. Pass. Renin 6, trying to get back the land, sure. Gets back the Saga, takes up Grist, plays over Catacombs, casts a Ragavan. We need something that draws us cards one of these days. All right, Avalanche Riders going away. Where is the value? We've been severely lacking in value this game. All right, well, pass the turn. Maybe we don't outvalue Jund because we draw no value. I mean, we've aggressively thinned the deck. Hopefully we draw some action sooner or later. Solitude the Ragavan. This double Planeswalker setup might actually get there for our opponent, though, if we just keep drawing nothing, which is starting to seem possible. Taking up the Grist. Replays Urza Saga. And gets back a land, swings, well, I mean, we will run out the Solitude, eat the stupid monkey, go up to 15, plays a Haywire Mite, trying to get back even more Ragavans. Oh, jeez, oh, this is not good. Yeah, I think we're dead here. We have just experienced the greatest flood in history. Opponent gets back to Ragavan. Cracks the Verdant Catacombs. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Oh, we've drawn nothing. It's turn 7, and we have drawn a Brought Back that got Thoughtseized, a Solitude, and an Avalanche Riders, and Ephemerate. All lands. Like, literally all lands. We're staying in the game because there's some hope we draw a Mulldrifter and Ephemerate it. That would be a potential pathway back into this game, but we're running out of time. This Grist is at 8. This Wren's gonna ultimate. We are running out of time for any of this to matter. We basically have to draw the Mulldrifter this turn, or it's over. And Elesh Norn doesn't do anything. None of our other cards really do anything. I think it's basically got to be exactly Mulldrifter. I mean, I guess the good news is we got this draw out of the way, thankfully, because wow, this is by far the worst draw our deck has gotten, like by a million miles. Elesh Norn, that does nothing because of Grist. Do we even play it? Like, our opponent just ticks down the Grist. I mean, they probably assume we have Elesh Norn, but they don't know. I mean, I don't want to get yelled at for an early scoop, so I guess we play it, but yeah, it's not a Mulldrifter. We needed something more than that. We're 20 cards in our deck, and 5 of them were non-lands. Whew. I mean, the fetching makes that a little bit different than just drawing all those lands, but it's still, the problem here is still we have just drawn a absolutely ungodly number of lands here. Opponent gonna make a Construct. And there's a Saga goes off. I guess we try to stick around for one more turn and then scoop. Our opponent can try to kill Elesh Norn with Grist. We can Ephemerate the Elesh Norn to keep it alive, but then our Ephemerate goes to waste. And then we basically have one more turn, if this lives, to maybe draw a Mulldrifter and then draw a bunch of... But even if we do, this Wrenn and 6 is gonna ultimate. I guess we'd have to draw a Mulldrifter into like ley lines. Thinking about their fetch land. Kolaghan's Command to get rid of the Ephemerate. Yep, that'll do it. We're up against Jund. I mean, I guess Sanctifier's probably pretty good. That might be the only real addition here. Well, let's go down Golos. Leyline Binding, I guess Avalanche Riders is probably pretty bad here. They do have Wrenn, so maybe trim the Avalanche Riders, something like this. Leyline is weak to Haywire Mite, but I think it's probably worth it overall. All right, we get to play first. Well, we got a Sanctifier. If it doesn't get Thoughtseized, that's pretty good. Can we dodge the turn 1 Thoughtseize? Well, tap land, go. And now we can Elesh Norn off of Heartless Summoning, maybe? Oh, all right. Has the Thoughtseize to take the Sanctifier. Well, that is huge for our opponent. Hopefully we draw some action. That is not action. Well, Flooded Strand, Godless Shrine, untapped, and Heartless Summoning. Oh no, no more flooding. Where's the Mulldrifters? Where's the Wall of Omens? We need action cards, not more lands deck. Opponent, Bloodstained Mire. Overgrown Tomb untapped. So we're gonna do this again, eh? Well, there's a Wall of Omens. Oh, this is interesting. So we can play the Mom, but if they kill it, it's so sad. We could hold the Mom, but if they Thoughtseize it, it's so sad. Mom is hard to kill. We're gonna run out Mom. It's hard to kill. Hopefully our opponent does not actually have one of the few hard removal spells that can kill it. Grist. So Grist can kill Mom potentially in 2 turns. And takes up the Wrenn, but we can't attack with the Elesh Norn, and we do have the Wall of Omens. Ooh. Well, Wall of Omens, draw 2. Arid Mesa, crack it. Sacred Foundry, Avalanche Riders. Blow up all the colored sources. Opponent jumps. Grist goes to 3. So our opponent needs to be able to make a creature here, essentially, to sack to the Grist to kill the Elesh Norn. We need to draw more action cards. Opponent gonna get back a Blood Crypt. Plays the land. DRC. All right, so they're gonna sack the DRC to kill the Elesh Norn. Yep, so opponent stays alive. Passing. Well, we sadly have to actually pay for this Avalanche Rider. We actually have to pay so it can attack the Grist. We draw even more lands. Well, kill the Grist. So Grist out, play a land, pass the turn. Oh, back to fizzling. Opponent floats it for a mana. Yeah, Grist is actually one of the few good cards that can actually answer Elesh Norn. We've actually run into a deck that can kill Mom. Opponent gonna sack the Haywire Might to get rid of the Heartless Summoning and has another Dragon Rage Channeler. And gets back an Overgrown Tomb. We are going to thin the deck, but we need to top deck something again. We are back to the need to top deck or this Ren Ultimate, and I don't think we can really beat a Ren Ultimate. Well, we will hardcast a Mulldrifter, draw a couple cards. Ephemera is interesting. I mean, maybe we can just play through it. I guess that's our goal. Play the Plains, pass the turn. So our opponent can ultimate, but they do have to have lands to discard, and we're getting close to the generate a ton of value stage of the game. So opponent is going to cash in their red. That means no more lands coming back from the graveyard. Thought seizes. Well, I mean, we're going to try to ephemerate Mulldrifter. And okay, Unholy Heat from hand. So opponent's gonna do things. Their Thoughtseize whiffs. And I guess they're mostly just hoping that we don't draw anything. Without a way to get lands back to hand though, opponent's gonna run out of the ability to do this pretty soon. Plays a Shadow Sphere. Mills a land. Gets and hits us. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us something good. Solitude counts. Get in with Avalanche Riders. Hit you down to 9. Arid Mesa, pass. So if our opponent tries to equip, we can get rid of the DRC. And then we are a turn away from, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Solitude. Get rid of the DRC. And we're a turn away from turning on Emiria, which is big. Discards down to 1 card in hand. Mills a land, sure, but loses their DRC. We will crack and thin the deck. Plains. Opponent needs to find Graveyard Hate. The Urza Saga might be able to do it. Well, Wall of Omens, sure. Draw a card. Leyline Binding, not the worst. I'll play Windswept Heath, hit you with the Avalanche Riders. Maybe we can actually beat the Ren emblem. Hit ya. I mean, opponent needs something this turn, or we get back either Elesh Norn or Mulldrifter. Ticks up. Another Ren. So opponent can get back a land. I mean, this Emiria is happening though. Overgrown Tomb untapped. Down to 8. Crack the Windswept Heath. Idyllic Range. Counter on the Avalanche Riders. Untap. Actually, the right play is probably just Sanctifier, but then they get the Graveyard Hate. You know what? I think we actually just Mulldrifter. Keep the value train running. Go to combat. Drops to 5. Wall of Omens. Yeah, let's hold on to the Triome. So pass the turn. Let's see what our opponent does. I think we might be getting there. I think we might. Opponent's going to make a construct. Sure. Let's Leyline Binding. Get rid of the red. Opponent. So I assume they got to get Graveyard Hate. We'll see what the Graveyard Hate is. We really got to answer the Ren because that gives our opponent a steady stream of cards to discard to cast stuff from the graveyard. We'll see if we get punished for getting back the Mulldrifter. We had multiple good options. It might be that Sanctifier is just better. All right, opponent gets the Nile Spellbomb. Passes. Well, let's cycle the Triome. Draw the Sanctifier. That is also good. Untap. Emiria, Sanctifier. I assume our opponent's just going to get it back. Or just going to crack the Nile Spellbomb. We'll see though. Cast an Unholy Heat. And then crack the Spellbomb. All right, so opponent cracks the Spellbomb. They get to draw a card. This does shrink their constructs though. All right, so we don't get to get back anything this turn. We draw another Emiria. Well, Sanctifier and Vec. Get rid of those annoying graveyard cards. Play a second Emiria. Go to combat. Hit you with Avalanche Riders. Takes it to 2. If we answer the Shadow Sphere thing, we should be good, right? That should just be able to win us the game. Okay, DRC to keep our opponent kind of alive. Inquisition. It doesn't actually do anything. I mean, it takes a Heartless Summoning, but we don't really need Heartless Summoning at the moment. Yep. And equips to the DRC. Well, go to combat, get in with the Avalanche Riders. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the Shadow Sphere. trade. I mean, we actively want things in the graveyard at this point. Wait. Well, I guess we don't want Avalanche Riders in the graveyard because of Sanctifier and Vec. On second thought, opponent finds a bobble. Well, we might just start ephemerating Wall of Omens, I guess. Well, ephemerate a Wall of Omens. It's a land. Amiria's fizzling at the moment, unfortunately. Wall of Omens. Something actionable. Heartless Summoning. Not exactly action. Another ephemerate. Well, okay. Ephemerate a Wall of Omens. Oh, if only we had the mother. If only we had the mother. No, boy, that's all the Heartless Summonings. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just passed the turn. Our opponent's in kind of an awkward position because we want our Wall of Omens to go to the graveyard so we can reanimate them. Opponent's gonna take a peek. This Sanctifier has shut down the Ren Emblem pretty nicely. Weird, long, close game. Well, we're probably gonna have to Solitude that. Opponent gets a clue. All right, so we untap. Crack the Flooded Strand within the deck. Get a Plains. Ephemerate. A Wall of Omens. Okay, play even more lands past the turn. All right, they're gonna wait on the Tireless Tracker. We were hoping they would try to crack it so we could exile it in response, but no such luck. Attacks. Well, I mean, we're gonna block. See if they have more graveyard hate. Wall of Omens to the graveyard. Just a Jingatha. Let's cast the Solitude. Get rid of the Tireless Tracker. Opponent goes to 1 temporarily. At least we got something to get back from the graveyard this turn. Are we gonna get our last land? It is a cycling land. Maybe it's probably better just to leave it. All right, we get to untap. Get back the Wall of Omens, draw a card. Sooner or later, we're gonna find some value. All of our Mulldrifters must be, most of our Mulldrifters chilling on the bottom of our deck. Well, there's a Triome. Amiria fizzles. There's a Mulldrifter. Okay, play a Mulldrifter. Draw a couple cards. Windswept Heath. I mean, we got a flyer. We got a flyer now. Inquisition can take, I guess, the Brought Back probably. Opponent can draw some cards with their clues. Takes the Brought Back. Corrects the clue to draw a card. Wow, gonna make mana with Jingatha. Yep. I mean, we have so much good stuff in our deck still if we can find it. More Tarmogoyfs. Would you like to attack us? No. Well, 1, 2, 3. Cycle the Triome. Draw Solitude, which is pretty good. And a Sanctifier. Down to 2. Mulldrifter. Draw a couple cards. We are winning with the Mulldrifter beatdown. Aaron Mesa. Evoking this Solitude is a nice safety valve. I mean, our opponent's got to kill both Mulldrifters or kill us. Cracks. I mean, I don't think they can do it. I think we got there. Urza Saga, that's not gonna do it. Swings with everything. This feels like the I give up attack. I mean, we're super fine with everything dying. It's all coming back anyway. All right, so we take 0. We actually go up to 10. And then we should just be able to Mulldrifter for lethal. I think our opponent's trying to play to the clock here. Well, Amiria, Wall of Omens. Amiria, get back Wall of Omens. Draw a card. Well, we've drawn almost our entire deck. Well, go to combat. Oh, all right. It all comes down to this game 3. Can we beat John? I mean, I think this is a good setup. Run it back. Those are some Heartless Summonings. No card draw, but opponent. Wooded Foothills. What do you got? Cracks it. Are we getting Thought Seized? Oh, just a Shadow Sphere. Okay. Well, let's Godless Shrine tapped. There's some argument to playing it untapped in case we want to ephemerate the Solitude, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to do that. Even if they have Ragavan Dash, I think we just take the hit. Opponent has Tarmogoyf. Okay. Well, play the Plains. Play Heartless Summoning. Pass the turn. This hopefully means good things start happening next turn. We'll see what our opponent has. Opponent, Vern Catacombs. More Tarmogoyfs. That's fine. Down to 19. Hopefully we can beat 2 Tarmogoyfs. If we can't beat 2 Tarmogoyfs, we have other issues. Kind of want to play a second Heartless Summoning. It's sort of greedy because it means our stuff's going to start dying. It makes our deck so cheap though. You know what? I think we just pass. Let's just pass. See what our opponent does. Yeah, I don't think we can afford our stuff to just straight up die yet. Gets in, hits us. Going to Besage the Heartless Summoning. Well, I think it means we just crack Windswept Heath. How do we want to do this? We get another land from the Besage. So let's get a Hallowed Fountain. Run out of Solitude while we have the discount. Eat a Tarmogoyf. Opponent's going to Unholy Heat it. Opponent's down to 2 cards, though. Yes, we will grab a Triome. Get our colors going. So opponent's down to 2 cards. That is not a ton. Another Elesh Norn. Well, 1-2. Heartless Summoning. So I think we Leyline Binding this turn and then try to do things next turn. We wouldn't mind hitting another land. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the Goyf. Opponent. Ren's pretty good for our opponent. So we do get to play Elesh Norn with Ephemerate backup, assuming our opponent doesn't have a Thoughtseize. Forest. Nile Spellbomb, sure. Well, Arid Mesa. Elesh Norn. Crack this. Let's get Idyllic Range. Put some counters on the Elesh Norn. Run out Avalanche Riders. Blow up all of your red mana. All right, opponent's going to cash in the Spellbomb. So they can get their lands back with the Ren, but our opponent's pretty far behind on mana. Hit the Ren. We need any good draw, any Mulldrifter, any Wall of Omens, anything like that, and we can pull away and put this game away. About it. Getting back a Mountain. Playing a Bauble, that's fine. To take a peek. Hopefully looking at a Mulldrifter. All right, terminates the Mom. I mean, we do have another one. So opponent did find the removal spell. We untap. Ephemerate the Avalanche Riders. Blow up your black mana. No Echo. Come on, deck. Ooh, brought back. Another Mom. Hit the red. Well, let's see if our opponent can keep chaining together removal. Oh, we're so close. We got 3 minutes on the clock, too. This ended up being a super long game. Can we get the 4-1? We're like 1 draw away. I mean, if we get to actually resolve the Ephemerate on the Avalanche Riders, our opponent's going to have some issues. All right, opponent's going to kill the Avalanche Riders. That makes sense. Blood Crypt. If they had Grist would be good. Tireless Tracker. We will untap. We're going to let this Ephemerate go to waste, unfortunately. That is a Wall of Omens. Wall of Omens, draw 2. That's what we were looking for. That's what we were looking for. Draw 2. Sanctifier and Vec. Get rid of the graveyard cards. Play a Windswept Heath. Attack the Ren. Are we jumping? I think we're going to get there. Opponent chumps. Wants to get their land back past the turn. We are so close. We are so close to the 4-1. If it wasn't for Pithing Needle, opponent. Okay, we just got to close it out in time. Opponent's going to get back a Boseiju, which can get back their Tarmogoyf, I guess. So I guess our opponent's kind of on the time plan too. So we just got to make sure we play quick. We don't want to lose this by timing out. Boseiju, sure. We will grab a Sacred Foundry, and then I think we just brought back it. Shadow Sphere. Okay, so crack the Windswept Heath. Get a Plains. Brought back Windswept Heath Leyline Binding. This might be it. Binding Tarmogoyf. Binding Ren. Mom Power. Get rid of them both. Untap. Action. Mulldrifter. Heartless Summoning. Well, go to combat. The only question is, can we do it in time? Can we do it in time? Opponent goes to 9. Opponent untaps. What do they find? Inquisition to take the Heartless Summoning. That's fine. We didn't want it anyway. And gets Jingatha. Well, crack the land, thin the deck, get a Plains, leave the Triome, untap, action, Mulldrifter, please. Brought back. Well, go to combat. Hit ya. Clock might actually be a problem. If we keep drawing nothing, especially if our opponent goes land Jingatha. Opponent inquisitions the brought back and passes. Come on, deck. Show us some card draw. Arid Mesa, not good. Well, hit ya. This might be enough though, because our opponent goes to 1. So now fetch lands are turned off. And if they draw a non-fetch land, Sanctifier can swing past Jingatha. They gotta draw something. Urza Saga, that's not fast enough. That's a good long-term card. But Jingatha's not enough. Sanctifier gets it done. Crack it. Plains. Untap. This is lethal, right? Am I missing something? This is a red card. This has pro red. We draw another land, which is not what we want, but Sanctifier, swing, and ping, and Heartless Mom. Wow. The deck's really good. Our only loss was getting wrecked by Pithing Needle, which was pretty self-inflicted. So the deck's good enough that, that as long as you don't fail to play around Pithing Needle, it can win every match. That means we get 5 treasure chests. That's a lot of treasure chests for an Elesh Norn. Chest 1, Fighter class. I wanted this card to be good. It just never made it. Torrent's not a bad commander card, I guess. Never really made it in standard, at least yet. Well, chest number 2. Ooh, Fiery Islet. Fiery Islet's probably worth something. Urtai, no. Fiery Islet on Moto, like $3. I mean, not bad. Something. Better than a Stone Blank. Blood Crypt. Shocklands are super cheap on Moto, which is awesome. Not awesome when you're opening treasure chests, but yeah, under $1, like 70 cents. One of the upsides, the mana base pretty cheap. Well, 2 to go. Bishop of Binding and some play points. Well, last shot for a complete set. Can we get something good? Fall of the Titan, Revenge of the Hunted. Treasure chest, pretty medium. Deck though, absurd. We played awesome games. Elesh Norn went off. We did so many cool things. We saw Heartless Summoning in action. I think this is my favorite Elesh Norn Modern deck yet, I will say. It was a good one, but we'll talk about that in the wrap up. Be right back. So what did we learn this week about Heartless Mom in Modern? And honestly, the deck kind of crushed it. We went 4-1 with the deck. We beat Rhinos. We beat Hammer Time. We beat Scam. We beat Jund. Our one loss was probably our fault. It was that game against 8cast or Affinity or whatever, where we twice, 2 games in a row, got wrecked by Pithing Needle coming down off of Urza's Saga to shut out our fetch lands. The first time, that was kind of just unavoidable. I mean, it was avoidable, but most decks don't have Pithing Needle in their main deck, so not playing around it the first time, I think justifiable. The second time, I just assumed that our opponent would sideboard it out, because Pithing Needle, other than naming a fetch land, just does literally nothing against our deck. I guess you can shut down a Golos activation, but our opponent wouldn't even know we had Golos, so it just does nothing. So I assumed our opponent had just sided out the Pithing Needle and brought in something more relevant. So again, I didn't crack the fetch land, and our opponent didn't take out the Pithing Needle, and they named the fetch land, and we lost again. We might have lost that match anyway. Our opponent was flooding the board really quickly, but it was pretty self-inflicted with those Pithing Needle, fetch land, shutdown, Stone Rain punts. The deck, though, in general, it is super sweet. Like, this deck is so incredibly fun to play. Elesh Norn is super powerful. The Heartless Summoning Brought Back plan is really, really good. Both of those cards are all-stars in the deck. They're great early. We really want one of those on turn 2, and then later in the game, we were getting back so many powerful things, evoking Solitudes and Mulldrifters and getting them back, sacrificing Avalanche Riders to Echoes and getting them back. So there's a lot of power there. And then once we get things set up, the value goes from like nothing to overwhelming in like 1 turn cycle. Once we get to kind of the mid game and we got the Heartless Summoning and we got the Elesh Norn, we just have these turns that are absolutely ridiculous, like Mulldrifter, Ephemerate the Mulldrifter, draw E cards, doing that for like 2 mana or something, Avalanche Rider, blow up all your lands, Solitude, exile all your team, draw through our deck with Wall of Omens, and eventually it's just like our opponent doesn't have a chance to keep up with the value. So I really like that this deck, we were able to beat people playing turn 1 Ragavans with us not having a way to stop it and taking hits from it. We were able to beat a lot of the best decks in the format. We were able to beat Rhinos coming down. We were able to beat fast Hammer Time kills. We were able to beat Scam trying to strip our hand. So we're able to keep up with a lot of the best decks in the format and do it in a really unique, super powerful, very Panharmonicon way. So anyway, that is Heartless Mom, one of my new favorite decks in Modern. That's been our Much Brew for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.